Hair products are off the shelves at major retailers across the country. First Clicks, then Checkers, Woolworths and Dis-Chem following suit yesterday. The advert labelled a white person's hair was normal, labelled a black person's hair dry, damaged and frizzy. Today Unilever, which owns the American hair brand, met with the EFF, who've been staging sometimes violent protests outside Clicks stores this week. It's not only an indictment on a hair care brand, but a PR nightmare as well. And it's hitting the product where it hurts, in the pocket. Let's discuss what brands stand for, how brands need to know their ethics, and what, if any, recovery there is. And I'm joined by brand reputation advisor Solly Moeng in Cape Town. Good evening, Solly. Thank you very much for your time. We know that Unilever has met with the EFF. They've made a deal. The product comes off the shelves for 10 days, and there are a number of other agreements. But all round, some incredibly tough lessons for Clicks, TRESemmé and Unilever. Of the three, who do you think handled it the best and who got it horribly wrong?
Well, the EFF was really smart in taking advantage of this. In other words, there's a tide in the affairs of men, and we know they thrive on this sort of thing. They've been too violent. The violence can never be condoned, accepted. But I think that for their core suppliers, followers, they are the winners. They come out of this the winners. Clicks is on the back foot. There's no doubt about it. They almost gave to the EFF everything that the EFF wanted. I don't know if those sanitation towels are going to go into the townships with the brand of EFF on them. Mm-hmm. But look, TRESemmé has not said anything. There's not been a spokesperson for that brand coming out to say, "Are we sorry? This is what we did." So Clicks had to take all the brunt of the anger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, TRESemmé had a statement which everyone had to read out, but that there was no actual face there for that. We know that Unilever, of course, which owns TRESemmé, has had that meeting with EFF. Do you think that TRESemmé is ever going to recover? You know, we tend to have a short memory in South Africa. If you think of the H&M issue with the T-shirt with a monkey on it, the Dove soap advert, which of course is also owned by Unilever. Do these brands recover and everyone just moves along?
Look, we still vote ANC despite everything we know, but that's a discussion for another day, isn't it? I think South Africans are very good at forgiving, but also at not connecting the dots. Chances are that a lot of people are going, look, the good thing is that TRESemmé products are being taken away off the shelves in other retailers, but I think an ordinary South African would probably not make the difference. And I think the brand that's been in their face has been Clicks. And over time, TRESemmé will recover. People will move on. There's no doubt about it. This is South Africa for you.
What are the crucial lessons here about knowing your brand, knowing what it stands for ethically, having a strong ethical position and a moral position, but also understanding the environment it operates in? I mean, surely anyone in hair care knows that black women's hair is a highly politicized issue, particularly so in South Africa.
Yeah, look, any brand that doesn't understand the core market or the target market, the market it operates in, is a failed brand. It's going to end up in this kind of situation. South Africa, as you know, is a very politicized environment. Race is our fault line. I always say that if you scream racist in a room filled with South Africans, you're going to end up with a stampede. So if you operate in this market and you fail to understand the sensitivities of this market, like any other market, really, not just us, you're going to end up in the same place where they're at. So there's something wrong in the way. It seems like they cut ties. They made some shortcuts in the way from the creative process to approving the ad for the South African market. Even if the ad was created elsewhere, the fact that somebody here in the South African market was supposed to look at it before it was taken into the released it to the local market to say, listen, guys, this might work over there, it doesn't work here. And they didn't do that.
And also it's about not cutting corners, as you say, but also ensuring that everyone who works on that brand, from the most senior person right down to the junior person who might be posting social media images or whatever, is absolutely steeped in the values of that brand, so that it's first and foremost. So that even if you come from an environment where you don't understand the politics of black hair, let's say as a white person who hasn't bothered to invest the time in these issues and is working for this brand. Do you think that there needs to be a different approach to how advertisers, marketers understand a brand, and that more and more internationally brands have to have their values absolutely front and center?
Yeah, look, there are two things. One, the internal processes that you referred to. I think a lot, and I've been in that environment before. I think there are usually people in South Africa tend to reduce transformation to just having blacks, whites, Indians, colors, having racial representatives, to quotas, as it were, and that's wrong. I think transformation must go beyond numbers. It must also be about the culture. It must be about creating the space for people. If you have people present, multiracial teams that are picture perfect, but it's not enough. Yeah. Do those people have a voice? Do they get given the space to express themselves, to say, I'm not happy with this is not going to work over there? And I can tell you that a lot of times juniors are not allowed that space. And I've seen people where, they look all picture perfect, but the person who speaks is so dominant, sometimes they're even afraid of that person. Nobody wants to say, excuse me, but maybe that one is not going to work over there. So they need to work on the culture. How is the culture in the company? To what extent does it allow people the space they need to express dissenting views on stuff? And I don't think that Clicks had this thing. Okay, but there's also one last thing. We in South Africa grow up in racialized spatial places where colors grow up with colors, white, blacks, Indians, and in those spaces there are preconceived ideas about the other. So people think about stuff about the other that are not true, and usually there's nobody to challenge those views. So, and then one day they go into the corporate world with those views, with those preconceived ideas, and they take decisions that they think are okay. So I don't think that Clicks went out to say, we're going to go after the blacks. It's not always a deliberate thing. It's unconscious racism, as it were, offense, if you were. Because we think, you grew up in a world where it's okay to do this sort of thing. There's nothing wrong with it. Or you don't have an understanding of the other side.
Absolutely, such important lessons that have been learned, and it's just the beginning. Thank you so much for your time this evening, brand reputation advisors Solimoying, and some news coming through from Clicks. Just a little earlier, they sent out a media release saying that they're going to be working with the Small Business Ministry to try and support more local brands, which is certainly wonderful news.